Hello Gemini, this is Ashley. Let's do your reading for the week of October 17th. We're going to look at a strength, a challenge, and then a potential outcome. And if you stick around to the end, I'll be pulling some cards specific to you for the full moon in Aries that we have this week on the 20th. This reading may not resonate for every Gemini who watches. If it is not your reading, I recommend you check your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for messages there. You can either check the schedule listed down below for when I release the different elements each week, or you can hit the notification bell and you'll be notified of every upload. So let's see what's going on for Gemini for the week of October 17th. Alright, we have the King of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Six of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the Three of Wands, the Ten of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Two of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck we have the Star, so some Aquarius energy coming through here. Could very well be some sort of destined dream come true here. Could also be related to some healing. We will have a look at your reading and see how that might be coming into play. Now real quick, I'm going to look at, we have this Between Worlds card in the reverse. So you can see this flamingo is kind of walking from black and white into color. So kind of been in a void place here, but I want to look at the protection message real quick because it's in the reverse. It says, be mindful of your expectations. This is not a time for guarantees. Things will not go exactly as you plan or dictate. Let go and see what Spirit has in store. What takes hold in your life will be much better than you can imagine. And this is actually showing up in your strength position. So kind of being open to the possibilities would certainly be a strength at this time. Now we do have the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. We also have the Two of Cups. So it could be dealing with another air sign, a soulmate pair here showing up. And it's kind of interesting because your strength is actually this Shaman card, and it says trust in higher forces. So it's almost like, while it's challenging not to know all the details of what's going to happen, that's also something that's serving you in a beneficial way here. Now we have the King of Swords, the Two of Cups, and the Ten of Wands. So it could certainly be some kind of ending that has taken place with a soulmate here. So let's see why this is showing up as a strength for you, Gemini. We have the King of Swords. We have the World. And the Two of Swords. So it's almost like, at least Now, we have the King and Queen of Swords, like I said. So I'll speak to it as in it's masculine and feminine energy, but certainly interchange it depending on your circumstance. But it does seem like the masculine in this dynamic is perhaps not wanting to see this relationship come to a close. I do feel like there is perhaps even some travel involved here. That King of Swords can be international energy, and we do have the World showing up here, along with the Three of Wands. So there could be something coming up for you in particular that is related to a move. Now that won't apply to everyone, so take that as it resonates as well. With the Two of Cups, we have the Seven of Wands and the Queen of Wands. And with the Ten of Wands, we have the King of Wands. So another couple showing up here. And the Seven of Swords. Interesting. So I'm going to look at this in a couple of ways here, because I do feel like both will apply to some of you. Like I was saying, I feel like the masculine here is somehow trying to escape this ending to this partnership. He doesn't want to see it. He wants to run away from it. It may actually feel like, excuse me, I have a cold right now, so please forgive my froggy throat clearing and sniffing here. I'm still in recovery mode. But it's almost as if this masculine energy is just kind of in this avoidance energy here. Like with the Two of Swords and the Seven of Swords, he's not wanting to see the truth of something. Could very well be because he is trying to protect his heart, right? With, you see how her arms are crossed over her heart here. And I think it's because the unknown that comes on the other side of this ending is unknown. You know, like it's serving as a strength that you don't know how it's going to turn out, right? And we'll see how that plays out as we go further into the reading here. But I think that in some ways, this masculine's almost keeping himself stuck. You know, not wanting to kind of exit. See how it's like this flamingo, I'm like, what's the word? Is stepping into this new world here. And it's like this masculine just wants to stay just like this. You know, half in, half out kind of feeling to it. Now the feminine here seems to be perhaps guarded against staying in this relationship. And so it's like, now this could be the masculine and feminine aspect of yourself, so keep that in mind. So on an intuitive level, right, with that Queen of Wands, you may know that this relationship needs to end. And we do have that High Priestess showing up here as well. So, but on a physical, mental level, you're kind of fighting the end to it. And I think it's because there's an unknown on the other side. This could be a relationship that you've been in for a long period of time. And I would say if this is not a relationship for you, it could certainly be just something that you have been involved with for a period of time, something that you're used to, right? With that Two of Cups, this can certainly be a couple or a relationship here, right? Soulmates. But it could also be, you know, just something that you've chosen, that you've dedicated yourself to. So it could certainly be work, that kind of thing. So just take that as it resonates. We will see how it develops here as we go. Now in the challenge position, again, we have this shaman, trust in the higher forces. And so, you know, the shaman, you can see he's holding a drum here. He's got that owl above his head. And the shaman is perfectly capable of tapping into that intuitive, deeper wisdom. And it's interesting that I was kind of picking up on that with this Queen of Wands. It's like the feminine aspect of the self intuitively knows that this isn't right now, at least. Now we have the Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords, and the High Priestess. So again, this High Priestess showing up, we have some of that intuitive, kind of behind the curtains energy here. You know, the High Priestess can be an energy of hidden factors that you're not aware of. Things that do come from the unknown, right? Now, I do feel like in this row, it seems like the feminine aspect of the being the Queen of Swords here. Like I said, we have the two couples. It looks like she's, you know, wanting to expand, perhaps even move. And, you know, like there's some choices here. We have some twos on the board associated with this reading. So I do feel like there's going to have to be a decision here between the two of you. But I almost feel like this feminine is ready to make a choice. You can see, I mean, Queen of Swords is decisive. And she uses that sword to cut through, you know, any clutter to get to the truth and a decisive action, really. So let's see why this is showing up as the challenge. Now with that Knight of Cups there, I almost wonder who that might be coming in to offer up that cup of love. You know, is it... I almost feel like it's this masculine that doesn't want this dynamic to end. Let's see here. The Knight of Cups, we have the Sun. And the Ten of Pentacles. With the Queen of Swords, we have the Hanged Man. And the Six of Wands. And with the High Priestess, we have the Three of Cups and the Three of Pentacles. You know, what's kind of interesting is like in this strength row, I mean, it shows up as somewhat challenging energy, right? It's like the masculine doesn't want this to end. The feminine's like, no, it has to. But I think the strength itself is in things not quite being settled yet. You're not in the ending anymore, but you're not through it yet, right? And then in comes this row that is the challenge, trusting in higher forces, kind of that, you know, similar in-between type energy. And we have all these like super positive cards. So with the Knight of Cups, we have the Sun and the Ten of Pentacles. I definitely feel like someone is coming in here. Could certainly be a water sign, Leo, showing up there strongly. With an offer that is intensely happy here. Like two of the best cards in the deck with the Sun and the Ten of Pentacles. It's like the ultimate abundance and happiness here. Like this person wants to offer kind of like this bright, shiny, positive thing. Now, I do feel like there's a potential that that has something to do with this star card. You can see that big star there. Now, with the Queen of Swords, we have the Hanged Man and the Six of Wands. So I feel like this feminine has determined that the best course of action is to expand, is to move past this this dynamic, because that's where victory will be, because it allows for expansion here. And I think she's had some kind of perspective shift, and that's why, you know, she's made this decision here. Now we have Pisces and Leo energy showing up here quite a bit. Pisces again here with the High Priestess. But I think what either you or the other person is not aware of is that there's like building and celebration coming in here. Now, with the High Priestess there, the Three of Cups and the Three of Pentacles, it could very well be, and I don't feel like this applies to everyone, so take it as it resonates, but it could very well be that the feminine in this aspect has decided to move on because someone else has come in to offer her this. A third party has stepped in and said, I'll give you all the things, right? And she sees that as a potential to expand. And so that could be part of why it's showing up in the challenging row, is that this masculine here obviously doesn't want her to move on and to go off in this other direction. Now, with Pisces showing up here and here, and that Knight of Cups, it could very well be a Pisces that has shown up and presented the feminine with this cup. Very interesting, and it feels complicated to me. Trying to feel into how to describe this. It feels stuck, if that makes... I'm like having a really hard time even explaining this, and I don't feel like I typically have that happen. And so let's look at the potential outcome here and see if we can clarify this mess. We have death and rebirth, so darkness to light. So it does feel like something is for sure ending here, but with the rebirth on the other side. And it's kind of like that's where things have been, in between worlds, you know, not knowing which way things were going to go, right? We have the Six of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, and the Two of Pentacles. So again, with this decision here, I do feel like at some point this masculine is going to have to see what he doesn't want to see here, right? Let me mute this real quick. Okay, let's look at this potential outcome row here. With the Six of Pentacles, We have the Three of Swords and the Nine of Cups. With the Three of Wands, we have the Ace of Wands and that Queen of Swords again. And with the Two of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. So it's kind of interesting because I feel like because there's not a decision at this time from the masculine energy in this reading, it almost feels like he's delaying something that's actually going to be positive on the other side. And of course, we don't know that until we do it, right? And if the masculine here has been with this feminine partner for a period of time, he's not wanting to let her go. It does look like she is choosing this new beginning and moving on here. So whether you resist it or not, and this is me speaking to that masculine, she's moving on. And it's interesting because I actually feel like the masculine's energy is here as well as here. And then the feminine's running right down the middle. And on this, you can see it's just cut, right? So I feel like for the masculine energy, this feminine is actually the thing that's in your way. Is kind of cutting things right down the middle, right? And on the other side of that, you know, we have better balance, sort of like this. It's almost kind of interesting because I almost feel like when this finally ends and things kind of kick off again in the outcome, the masculine kind of goes from this Three of Swords energy into the Nine of Cups, which is quite the jump, right? The Three of Swords, that's heartbreak and pain. The Nine of Cups is like a wish come true here. And again, with that star, similar energy there. And I think it's because, you know, I almost get the feeling that this masculine has either been putting in, like there's some rebalancing of the scales that's taking place as a result of this coming to an end here. And I almost get the feeling that the feminine in this dynamic is, you know, she's given all her attention and money to this guy. And the masculine is sitting here with his hands open, kind of receiving nothing. And so I don't feel like the dynamic has been fair for some time. And then by allowing this to end, it finally balances so far in the other direction. I think there's going to be like this, like, why did I ever wait to let this go in the first place? You know what I mean? Now, with the Two of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. So I do feel like ultimately the choice for the masculine, at least, is to move on to a new beginning here. And it'll be one that is, you know, prime for abundant development there, with that being an Ace of Pentacles. Now, I will say that I do feel like in this dynamic, the feminine energy feels like she's just chasing a shiny coin. And I felt that way, and I should have said so, when I saw this. It was like someone, I don't know, offering up a shiny new toy here. And I do feel like that is kind of where that's going to head. That it would maybe maybe be a lot of promises and maybe not a lot of follow through here. So, like I said, take that and flip it and reverse it based on whether you feel you are sitting more heavily in the masculine or in the feminine energy here. I'll quickly go through the signs. We definitely have air and fire showing up here with those two sets of court cards. We also have Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Pisces, Pisces, Leo. Yeah, those are the big ones that I'm seeing here. So, what an interesting reading here. I almost wonder if part of why it was so difficult to pick up the messages was that weird split right down the middle. It's almost like this feminine energy is kind of distracting you from what you need to see. So, I hope that was helpful. Let's do your full moon message, Gemini. Full moon in Aries for Gemini. We have a win-win outcome as forecast. Isn't that interesting? Because, one, that is the full moon in Libra. So it would be the conclusion of a relationship, which is Libra. Now we are just now finishing that retrograde in Libra, and this has been a relationship reading. And it's interesting because this was the outcome, one of the outcome cards in under that death and rebirth was the balancing of the scales, right? So let's get a couple of tarot cards to go with that. What other info can we have for Gemini around the time of this full moon in Aries? We have Queen of Wands, the Three of Cups, and the King of Wands. Interesting. So, you know, we had the King and Queen of Wands show up together in this reading. Now they're showing up here as the dynamic duo, right? With the Three of Cups between them, I feel like there's a couple things here. I feel like you're both going to end up in a happier place, for sure, as this comes to, I mean, win-win outcome. So that's a positive. But, you know, between two soulmate energies, I would normally feel like this was almost a reunion energy. Only I feel like in this case, this feels more like you're both going to come out of this and just have like this. I feel like it's a sigh of relief, but not because you're finally done dealing with this person and you're just like, I'm going to discard this and thank God it's over. I mean, it's certainly been a burden in the end here, right? But almost as if you both come to this place where you're in this happier place for yourselves, and then you can be happy for the other person as well. And so it really does feel like, even as this is coming to a close and you're having to say goodbye to it, and there will obviously be some healing that takes place, you know, as it comes to a close, I think you're both going to come out on the other side of this in a more positive place than maybe even you both expect, right? So that feels really good. I hope that was helpful, Gemini, even if it was a little chaos, a little confusion there. And I will see you next week for the October wrap up for your sign. Bye.